Welcome to episode 159 of the Pharmacist Voice podcast. I'm your host, Kim Newlove. This is one of my drug name pronunciation episodes. Today, we're talking about IMLYGIC, also known as talimogene laherparepvec or T-VEC. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. In my pronunciation episodes, I say a brand name drug and its generic, break both drug names down into syllables, explain which syllable or syllables have the emphasis, reveal the source or sources of my information, and put the written pronunciations of both in the show notes so that you can see them and use them right away. Let's dive in and talk about the brand name first, IMLYGIC. By the way, what is IMLYGIC? According to the FDA's website, IMLYGIC is indicated for the local treatment of unresectable cutaneous, subcutaneous, and nodal lesions in patients with melanoma recurrent after initial surgery. In simple terms, this is a treatment for a skin cancer called melanoma. Let's break IMLYGIC down into syllables. IMLYGIC has 3 syllables. IMLYGIC. IMLYGIC. Can you hear the 3 syllables? The second syllable, ly, gets the emphasis. What does that mean? It means that you need to say it a little bit louder than the other syllables. IMLYGIC. IMLYGIC. If you know music terms, it'll help you understand what I'm about to say. I would say that the syllable ly in IMLYGIC has a staccato quality. Staccato is a music term. It just means you punch it. You give it a punch. Land on the syllable ly intentionally so it stands out. IMLYGIC. Where did I get this official pronunciation of IMLYGIC? Good question. IMLYGIC has a website. It is imlygic.com. That's IMLYGIC.com, imlygic.com. I clicked on the Healthcare Professionals tab, and I found a video that says the drug name. I also Googled IMLYGIC's medication guide. I found it on the FDA's website, and when I read it, I found the written pronunciation, and the written pronunciation matched what I heard on IMLYGIC's website. It was just that easy. There are other ways to access the written and verbal pronunciations of IMLYGIC, but those are my top 2, so I'm going to stop there. Let's move on to the pronunciation of the generic, which is talimogene laherparepvec. This drug name is so hard to pronounce that it actually has a nickname, which is T-VEC. T like the letter T, and VEC, which rhymes with neck. T-VEC. Put the emphasis on the letter T. T-VEC. T-VEC. Nicknames aside, the generic or non-proprietary name of IMLYGIC is talimogene laherparepvec. There are 2 words here. Let's break them down one at a time. The first word is talimogene. Talimogene has 4 syllables. See if you can hear them. Talimogene. Talimogene. The second syllable, im, gets the emphasis. Punch it. Talimogene. Talimogene. The second word in talimogene laherparepvec is laherparepvec. Laherparepvec has 5 syllables. I'll say it slowly so you can hear all 5. Laherparepvec. Laherparepvec. In laherparepvec, 2 syllables get emphasized. Now, I'm just going to say it's really easy to see if you look at the written pronunciation in the show notes. Since you're listening to the audio, however, please note that the second syllable, her, gets the secondary emphasis, and the fourth syllable, rep, gets the primary emphasis. Both syllables get emphasized. Give the syllable rep the most emphasis. I think they sound very similar in emphasis when I say them, but the intended pronunciation is that rep gets the most emphasis. I feel like the primary emphasis on rep sounds both staccato and louder than the other syllables. Just see what you think. Laherparepvec. Laherparepvec. How did I know how to say talimogene laherparepvec? Good question. This drug name is intimidating to look at. I didn't know how to pronounce it the first time I saw it. The pronunciation definitely was not obvious to me at first. Since it is a non proprietary or generic drug name, I found the written pronunciation in my favorite resource for non proprietary drug names. It's the USP Dictionary Online. This reference is also known as the USAN or the USAN Online. USAN stands for United States Adopted Names. This is the name we use in the United States. There's a link to the USP Dictionary Online in the show notes. Please note that it is a subscription-based resource. What other clues did I have about the pronunciation of talimogene laherparepvec? We all like clues, right? When I watched and listened to the video on IMLYGIC's website, I heard talimogene laherparepvec mentioned verbally. Having the written and verbal pronunciations makes drug names so much easier to pronounce. Don't you agree? Now, if you like easy, get both. You can see and hear the pronunciation. I like easy. Let's pretend you're a voice actor like me, and you can't access the USP Dictionary online for a written pronunciation, and the drug name wasn't mentioned verbally in a video produced by the drug sponsor. Where do you find the information? Where do you find the right information? There are two places that I would trust. Number one, I would call the drug sponsor's drug information department, or number two, I would call the Division of Drug Information at the FDA's Center for Drug Evaluation and Research during normal business hours, of course, and I would feel confident that I got the right information. Could I Google it? Could I go to YouTube? Sure, but I don't like to risk. I don't like risk. I don't like to risk the wrong pronunciation, especially when I'm sitting down and I'm prepping a script. I just want to get that work done and get the right pronunciation written down so I can move on and go on to the next thing. I don't want to second guess myself when I'm narrating a script. All right, that ends my discussion of the pronunciation for IMLYGIC, otherwise known as talimogene laherparepvec and T-VEC. I'd like to take just a moment right now to say thank you to the USP Legal Department for permission to use the written pronunciations from the USP Dictionary Online in my YouTube videos and podcast show notes. Thanks, guys. Now, as a reminder, there's a lot of misinformation online. The purpose of these pronunciation episodes is to provide the intended pronunciations of the drug names from reliable sources. I want you to feel confident saying drug names and less frustrated learning them. I hope this episode helped. Let's wrap this up. Thank you for listening to episode 159 of the Pharmacist's Voice podcast. Please visit thepharmacistvoice.com to read the show notes. You'll find links to IMLYGIC, the USP Dictionary Online, my first 5 pronunciation episodes, and more in the show notes. If you're interested in picking a drug name for a future pronunciation episode, please visit thepharmacistvoice.com and click on the Contact tab. Either leave me a voicemail message or type out a written message using the contact form. I'd love to hear from you. If you know someone who would like this episode or needs to hear it, please share this with them. And subscribe to or follow the Pharmacist's Voice podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Thank you again for listening.